I'm Aileen Bishop,
And I'm Olivia Jackson.
and we are 50% of the staff at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. So, Olivia, usually when we
Yeah.
do our Instagram show about reality TV, usually the
hmm
format is that you are teaching me about a subgenre or history of a specific show. But I thought
Yeah.
for Stay Home for the Holidays, we could do something a little different, and I could teach you something this time.
Okay. Love that.
So, your family, I think you guys do like full on Christmas with the traditions and the trimmings and all that stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so mine did too. It never felt quite right to me. Like I see so many folks enjoying Christmas, and it never felt like it was my holiday. So as I became an adult and got older and older, Christmas became less and less part of my life. Like I enjoy seeing other people's joy at Christmas. I really enjoy that. But as someone who has seasonal depression, not having my own holiday, it kind of brought me down sometimes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But in 1997, which was my mid 20s, um, I
I
was
was too.
introduced.
The best part of our reality TV show is every time Aileen sets me up to make her feel old. I would never do that on my own, but she sets me up quite often.
That I did lob a softball there. You're right. Um, 1997, when I was 25 and Olivia was 2, I was introduced to a new holiday, and I want to tell
A
you all
new
about the new
holiday.
holiday. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so in 1997, I first learned about Festivus on Seinfeld. So Museum of Broadcast
Okay.
Communications talk about TV influencing culture, right? It was an
Yeah.
episode called
Yeah.
The Strike, where Jerry, Elaine, and Kramer go to the Costanza's family Festivus celebration. Um, so George's father, Frank, who was the late great Jerry Stiller, explains that he created a Festivus for the rest of us, so that you could have a non-commercial, secular winter holiday celebrated on December 23rd, which is today, and that had its own strange traditions and rituals.
Yes, I'm definitely familiar with Festivus. I
Nice.
have during the pandemic have been watching Seinfeld. I haven't gotten to this episode yet. I didn't want to skip ahead, but yes, I
As
have heard of Festivus.
as you're watching, are you seeing like a lot of different cultural touchstones that you're like, oh, I didn't know that came from Seinfeld?
Yes, so many. Yeah, it's so
Um,
good though. It's so funny.
it is. There's so many classic moments. Um, as is often the case with Seinfeld and a lot of other, especially comedy shows, the weirdest, funniest stories are the ones that are rooted in some kind of reality. So you might not have
Oh,
known that Festivus existed long before Seinfeld.
I did not know
Um,
that.
so it actually was conceived in 1966 by Daniel O'Keefe. Daniel O'Keefe was a longtime editor for Reader's Digest, like 30 years he was at Reader's Digest. And he created Festivus in 1966 to commemorate the anniversary of his first date with his wife. Um,
Okay.
so it was just a family thing. It wasn't published or anything. It was just called Festivus until 1976. He renamed it Festivus for the rest of us being the people that were living after his mother had passed that year. So it wasn't like Festivus for the rest of us. It was the rest of the family that was still alive. Less
Okay.
joyful. Um,
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but
it
I'm
is kind of a
still
bummer.
digging it.
Um, he actually wrote a book in 1982 called Stolen Lightning: The Social Theory of Magic, which talks about ritual and tradition and the social impacts of those, which is interesting to me because that's sort of what a lot of holidays are about and are comprised of.
Rituals and traditions. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, Daniel O'Keefe's son, Dan, goes on to be a television writer, and he writes for shows like The Drew Carey Show and. Yes?
Seinfeld.
Yes! So he ended up being a
Oh,
writer for
interesting.
Seinfeld. I should have written a quiz for you like you do for me on our show.
Ugh,
Um,
alas.
so the Seinfeld producers actually heard about Festivus anecdotally from Dan's younger brother and went to Dan and said, "We want to put this in an episode. This is crazy and weird and amazing." And he was like, I don't know, like that's my family's story, and I don't think I want to put that on TV. But the
Okay.
producers won, and here we are. He
The
actually ended
producers
up writing
always
a.
win, don't
They always win.
they?
He actually wrote a book in the early 2000s called The Real Festivus, which he shared more of his family's celebration and their traditions and what he ended up changing to put
Aw,
on the show. Um,
cute.
yeah. So, um, the Seinfeld version of Festivus definitely changed a lot of the original celebration. Like the Seinfeld one
Oh,
was
really?
December 23rd. That's not necessarily when the O'Keefe Festivus was. Um,
Mm.
the Seinfeld version had an aluminum pole. This is my Festivus pole right here. Unadorned.
Yes.
Um, as Frank
Amazing.
Costanza says, he finds tinsel very distracting.
Yes, well,
Um,
tinsel can be
it is.
distracting, and Frank Costanza is easily distracted.
It's true. The O'Keefe's version would have a clock in a bag nailed to a wall. And Dan O'Keefe said
What?
it's not always the same clock. It's definitely not always the same bag. It is always the same wall. And that was like a big thing for his dad to surprise everyone with having nailed the clock in the bag to the wall. And in an interview with
What
CNN,
is the meaning behind that?
right, in an interview with CNN, Dan O'Keefe told them, he said, the real symbol of the holiday was a clock that my dad put in a bag and nailed to the wall every year. I don't know why. I don't know what it means. He would never tell me. He would always say, that's not for you to know, which sounds so Frank Costanza to me. That's not for you to know.
Yes. That is
Um,
absolutely Frank Costanza. That's not for
right?
you to know.
That's
Oh
not
my
not
goodness.
for you to know, George. Um,
Oh, Georgie.
um, the Seinfeld version of Festivus also they had feats of strength. So the Festivus celebration would continue until someone was able to pin the head of the household in a wrestling match. Um, so if this weren't a pandemic and we were able to be together, I would totally be down for feats of strength with Olivia. But we just can't do it
Wait.
this year. And I
Well,
feel
the
like,
head of the museum household would be Susie Schultz. Are you gonna pin Susie? And I don't
if
know.
it
She would.
wasn't a pandemic,
I think. I think she would put
sh-
up a pretty good fight. It would be a toss
she's
up between the two
scrappy.
of you.
She's
Yeah.
scrappy. I will say the one feat of strength I have in my head, you might have already won this year because you have been carrying me through our Instagram show every week, and that is a feat of strength in itself.
No. Look, when they start giving out Emmys for IGTV, I'll be sure to
It's all
thank you
you.
in my speech.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just kidding. No, we would both win that. We're a
But
team.
we're a team. There is one Seinfeld Festivus tradition that I think we can celebrate, and that is the airing of grievances. So traditionally, the grievances are the ways that everyone else in the room has wronged you, but we have our own
Okay.
whole show for saying how we've wronged each other. So I thought we could air some 2020 grievances, so we can maybe get those out in the open, put
Okay.
this year behind us. So you ready?
Okay. Do they have to be 2020? Can it also be like holiday
Yeah,
grievances?
whatever you got, just
Okay.
let's get them out. So I've got one.
Okay.
I have I have a real problem with toilet paper hoarders. Like seriously,
Ugh.
almost everyone needs toilet paper. This is not a luxury
Almost.
item. Oh, some folks
Everyone.
don't. That's not true.
Oh, okay. I guess there are
Almost
some
everyone.
who are straight up bidet users. They maybe don't need it.
Um, but like it's not a thing that like just people with certain conditions need. Like, and
Right.
I just don't understand like having a garage full of something that people use to wipe their butts. Does that make you feel superior in some way, hoarders? Like, oh, I've got all the butt wiping stuff. So that's one of my
Oh,
grievances.
you know what? Along those lines, I'm going to have a grievance for people who hoard these things like toilet paper and hand sanitizer and then try to sell it at a higher price point.
What
I'm
is
just, that's
that?
just mean. Like, you are the Grinch of 2020 if you're trying to charge $20 for a bottle of Purell. I mean, the vodka on top of my fridge can do just as well killing those germs, and it has a different use as well.
I was gonna say, don't you know drinking bleach is not don't do that.
Now you tell me.
Sorry. All right, I got another one. I got another one. Um,
Okay.
I am running out of trashy reality TV, which I didn't think was humanly possible. Specifically, I'm running
It's
out
hard
of
to do.
versions. I know, and I'm running out of versions of The Circle to watch. So, I just finished
Oh,
France. Once I watch Brazil, I'm going to be done. And I'm just like, The Circle is like it was made to be made during the pandemic. I need more
it's
Circle,
so good. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
What do
they
you
could
got?
totally make it right now. Okay.
I mean, everybody's isolated.
Here is just a general grievance. I recently watched the movie Love Actually for the first time.
That's my favorite Christmas
And
movie.
what? That
Are we going to
movie
fight?
is terrible. So here's my
We're going to
grievance
fight.
against you, Aileen. Love Actually. When was the last time you watched Love Actually? It's
Last
there are
Christmas.
too many characters. It makes hardly any sense. The it should be called Lust Actually. You're telling me all of those people are madly in love with one another. Also, when it got to the iconic like sign holding up scene, I was
Yeah.
like, this
That's
scene
creepy.
happens between some creepy dude who's been stalking this woman and she falls for it? No, 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 no. No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
no, that scene is
I'm
creepy.
sorry. Love Actually is a bad movie.
Oh, see, we have a household competition of Love Actually and Die Hard for Christmas, of which is the better movie. And obviously, my partner and I are in two very different schools on that.
I'd say those are two very different movies. Hard
They
to
are.
compare.
It's true. It's true.
I would also
So
say that they're not Christmas movies, they're movies that take place during Christmas.
that is another part of the argument.
That's how I feel
You know
about the
what?
movie
It
White Christmas, which is my favorite movie of all time. I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I think it's a movie that, sorry,
happens to
dog
be a
barking.
Christmas.
I think, yeah, it takes place at Christmas and it ends very
That's
Christmassy.
right. Do you feel better for having aired some of your grievances today?
I do feel better. I mean, I have so many things to say about Love Actually. Like, I think Love Actually is the Cats of 2003. You know, like it's a star-studded cast, and yet somehow they
Oh,
totally failed.
oh, we are
And
gonna
there are
fight.
too many characters, and it makes very little sense to me.
So
But I will say I've watched Cats like 4 times, so
Colin Firth magically learning Portuguese overnight so he can propose to a stranger is weird to you?
yeah, like come on. Come on. It's lust actually. This isn't love. But you know what? I
What?
adore all of those actors and I would never want to insult them. So I'm so sorry.
I will
But yeah,
defend you
that's
all. Um,
absolutely.
did you learn anything new today about Festivus?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot new today. Um, I knew like 3 things about Festivus before today, and they were all from Seinfeld. I had no idea that it was not something Seinfeld invented. So
It was
that's fun.
something
That's
Seinfeld
really cool.
stole, but they did a really good job with it,
Uh,
I think. Um, so for everybody out there, whether you celebrate a holiday this season or you don't, find some joy, be safe. We'll see you in 2021. Olivia, what else you got?
if you want to provide your own Festivus miracle for Aileen and me and preserving the fun history and cultural impact that something like Seinfeld and Festivus has had on all of us, consider giving to the Museum of Broadcast Communications, because that's what we're all about, is preserving and celebrating television and radio history so that generations to come can pull out their Swiffers and have a
You're not
Festivus
supposed to
for
know
the
what's a
rest of
Swiffer.
us. The
Swiffer.
green handle kind of gave it away. I'm sorry.
Thank you all so much. Enjoy your holidays.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for NBC's Stay Home for the Holidays Festival of Storytelling. We hope it becomes a holiday tradition every year. This is our gift to the community, but we're also hoping that if you have the means, that you might be able to donate to the museum so that we can make 2021 a year where we not only survive, but we thrive. You'll find the link in the text.